everyone, my name is Teacher Jenny and I'm here to discuss my analysis from the song Tears in Heaven by Eric Clapton. If you don't know or if you've never heard the song, I will let you listen to it. Alright, so you've listened to the first stanza and the chorus of the song of Eric Clapton's Tears in Heaven. So now let's go deeply to my analysis of his song. But first let's start with his biography. So that's Eric Clapton. He was born in Ripley, Surrey, England on March 30th, 1945. He is an English musician, singer, and songwriter. He has been referred to as one of the most important and influential guitarists of all time. And he always creates ballad songs with unique lyrics in every verse of those songs. So you can imagine how good his songs are, because he uses his experiences or others' experiences for his songs. Now, my field of presentation is focused on literature, especially on lyrics. Well, before we have the lyrics of the song, of course, it would start from writing a poem. So, the scope of my presentation focuses on the lyric of the song, Tears in Heaven, and it tries to analyze the type and effects of grief in it. My problem formulation, I have two. The first one is, what kinds of grief does the lyrics embody? And how are griefs figuratively described? The objective of my presentation is to find out what kinds of grief embody to the lyrics in the song Tears in Heaven, and to know what are grief's figurative languages effects in Eric Clapton's life. The significance of my presentation, well, it expects that the readers may better understand the condition of grief in Tears in Heaven lyrics. It also hopes the readers have a new insight about the study of lyrics. By understanding this study, the study of poetry could be more interesting because poetry can also be related to songs. Okay. So, for the definition of term, alright, because what I got here is my analysis in papers, and yeah. Alright, so the first one is the psychological term. Characterizes any event of the domain of the psychology, of course. We have the grief. It's an unpleasant emotional state felt by us, human. Bereavement, it's a death of someone who is really close to and the loss of someone we love, and someone who is important, very important to us. Okay, so for the review of literature, I choose Kubler-Ross theory in using psychological approach, especially theory stages of grief. I may not be able to discuss the theory of Kubler-Ross, maybe if I may be given a chance to have another presentation, maybe that will be my next presentation, but the theory of Kubler-Ross. Anyway, the theory will be used to explain the kinds of grief in effects in accepting the reality which happened in Tears in Heaven. And in this chapter, it will be divided into two categories. And we have, oh my God, denial. For denial, it's kind of usual. It's a kind of defense that we use to cover up something. It's like you're denying something. You believe that it's not happening, but it just happened. Anger. Bargaining. Depression. And acceptance. So these five words that you are seeing right now are the words that you would also see in the lyrics of the song. So I've used figurative languages such as imagery, simile, personification, synecdoche and metonymy, paradox, and irony. So my research methodology is a quantitative research and the libraries research. So these two researches help me to understand better what the song is really all about. So I've used data collection, instrument, and data analysis. Okay, so now let me tell you the story of Eric Clapton's life and why did he create that kind of song. Well, Eric Clapton is married and he had a 4-year-old son. Unfortunately, his wife and Eric Clapton during that time were not in a good state. So they divorced, and of course his wife took care of his son. So what they did was every weekend his son would be to Eric and for 5 days to his wife. So one Saturday Eric was really excited to see his son, so he was about to go to his wife's place. So during that time, his son was playing outside the unit of the building. So they were living on the 44th floor, and cleaner during that time was cleaning the hallway, and he opened a hole there because he was like cleaning, and he didn't notice the boy running around the house, running around the hallway. So his son, Eric's son, was accidentally fell to the 44th floor of the building, and he instantly died. So Eric wasn't able to see his son alive because just 5 minutes before he arrived, his son died already. So that's my analysis and interpretation of this song. And Eric Clapton, when he wrote this song, he really could not believe what just happened. He could not accept the fact that his son died that early. It's like he had so many plans for his son, and that he had planned plans to bringing his son to his concert a month after that. So all of his plans felt like, a mirror suddenly just fell on the ground. So that's it. So that's his very cute boy, son, Connor. Name of his son is Connor. Okay. So the speaker is, of course, Eric Clapton. The audience is also himself. While he was writing the poem Tears in Heaven, he was also considering it to himself, just to himself. Of course, the diction and sound effect, they're all negative, all in grief, loss, regret. And at first, it was really hard for him to accept that. So, we have kinds of grief, as I've said, regret, loss, and grief. So, analysis stages of grief in Tears in Heaven: shock and denial. He was really shocked, of course, to see his son die that early. And he just, at first denied that, okay. The next day, actually, after that accident, he went back to the building. And he was like trying to believe that his son was still there, waiting for him outside the door. But that's it. Pain and guilt. And acceptance. So, my grand theme for this analysis is, understanding is the first step to acceptance, and only with acceptance can there be recovery. It took years for Eric Clapton to accept the fact that his son would never be back, and that it would be forever just a memory that can never be forgotten. So I hope you liked my analysis, and that's all about my presentation.